welcome to Time Stood Still Gaming and the PlayStation Backlog series. This is where I go back in time to 1995 and play the absolute best of the PlayStation catalog. Today is all about game number 2. And actually, I have something to show you. I made this little graphic. I wish that I had this done for my Twisted Metal video, but we live and we learn. You live, you learn. Alright, so this chart, so what I've decided to do is divide this massive list of games that I have into heats. As you can see here, each heat will consist of 10 games. As I've said in the past, each game will remain a secret until I either start streaming it on Twitch or I put a video up about the game here on YouTube. So we can go ahead and get rid of that box number 1. We know that that is Twisted Metal. Now, you can see on the y-axis that I am planning on ranking these games on a scale from 0 to 10. I do reserve the right to put a game in between a number if I feel like it, because again, this is arbitrary and fun. However, I will not be ranking Twisted Metal at this moment. What I will do is complete the heat, streaming the games over on Twitch and here on YouTube, and I will make a cumulative video at the end of each heat. So for example, this is heat 1. We are playing game number 1 through number 10. When I complete game number 10, I will make a heat 1 video in which I reveal my scores for each game. I will talk about the games a little bit. You know, whatever, just do this heat in review sort of video. I'm really excited for that. And the other element that I'm adding is a sort of Hall of Fames element. I want to come up with a cool catchy name for it because Hall of Fame is so obvious and generic. But what I want to do is decide on one game from each heat. That will be 10% of games in this extensive backlog series will be taken from their heat and placed into the PlayStation Hall of Fame greats, whatever I'm gonna end up calling it. So I'm really excited about this setup. I'm really excited about this formula. So without further ado, let's go to game number 2. That's right, game number 2 is GEX. Before we get started, let's take a look at the absolutely wild intro video that GEX blesses us with.
It all started so simply. I had just finished my usual morning routine of nude funkercise, fired up the Barca-Lounger, grabbed a quick bite to eat, and prepared to watch some serious tube.
Yikes. Okay, so in case you forgot, we are in the 90s. Let's take a look at those words again. He said...
Nude funkercise.
Nude funkercise.
Fired up the Barca-Lounger.
I don't know what a Barca-Lounger? 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 Barc-o-Lounger? Barca-Lounger.
And prepared to watch some serious tube.
Some serious tube.
Little did I know, my snack was sent by Rez.
What's shocking about this intro video is that the villain is actually terrifying. Like for a KA game, you know what I mean? Like we have vibes, we have heavy vibes. You are mine. Okay, again. KA, all ages included. Let's hear that scream one more time. Alright, so now we have a little bit of a feel for GEX. Let's talk about why GEX is in the PlayStation Backlog series. I have not played GEX before. And actually, if we're talking about my initial expectations of GEX, I actually had 0. I didn't even know if this game was 2D or 3D. All I knew was that it was this sort of like mascot base game. I don't know, I was getting some sort of like Crash, Ratchet, Jack vibe. I'd never played this game before, I had zero expectations. The reason this game landed on the list for the PlayStation Backlog series is just because of the publisher, Crystal Dynamics. I did really like their reboot of the Tomb Raider series. I think that was in like 2011? Yikes. Specifically, I really liked the first of the series of the reboot of the Tomb Raider series. I also played the first of the series of the reboot of the Deus Ex series. I really enjoyed that game as well. Both were on the PS3 generation. So I thought, hey, if I can go back in time and see what Crystal Dynamics was publishing in the year of 1995, let's do it. Oh, also if you sit on the game's start menu for more than about 15 seconds, we get this gem of an advertisement.
Play ball!
Come on.
Crystal Dynamics 32-bit lineup with all the nose bleeding, brain bruising, and eye-grabbing power that you'd expect from the leader. Third generation 32-bit software. In your face.
Alright, so now we have the fun 3D entertainment out of the way. Let's get on to GEX. I honestly didn't like GEX. I just did not like it. But before we get into the negative stuff, let's listen to the absolutely banging title menu song. Let's go. Can't tell the music not to slap! So as you can see, GEX is a 2D platforming game. This is the sort of hub world. As we saw in that intro video, an evil man named Rez, who comes from this sort of TV dimension, has in some manner sucked GEX into the television, into this other dimension. And it is here that we are presented with hub worlds and levels to complete. So this is the first world, the cemetery. This is the world that I did not make it past. This is the world that made me quit. Maybe I should have done a little research as to whether GEX was 2D, 3D, whether it was a platformer, whether it was action adventure. But I did absolutely none of that, and I was a little bit too retrified by GEX's design. As you can see here, GEX is sort of your standard 2D side-scrolling game. I just felt like I wasn't necessarily playing a game from the generation that I signed up to play. I felt like this game wasn't necessarily developed primarily for this generation. And upon doing 30 seconds of research, I found that I was right. GEX was actually ported to the PlayStation in 1995. So this is not an original PlayStation title. I personally think it shows. You see, as you make your way through the levels, you can jump and tail whip these question marks for quick tutorial action. GEX can take 3 hits each life, which are represented by the handprints in the top right corner. You can see here what the levels are kind of like. Very standard, not much room for exploration. To me, the enemies are kind of uninspired. Again, I only played about 1/5 of the game. So for those of you who I'm pissing off, just go a little easy on me. GEX doesn't actually make use of the PlayStation 1 memory cards. What you can do is tail whip these Polaroid cameras that you find throughout the level, and they take a snapshot of your progress. I don't even think that progress carries over if you happen to turn off the system. It's just if you die or leave the level or something of that sort, you can come back and your progress will be saved. I feel like I just wasn't getting what I needed from GEX. I know complaining that a game feels old when I'm going back to 1995 and playing these games seems a little bit redundant or stupid. I just felt a disconnect. It's possible that it's because this game was developed for another system, and so it is missing some of that PS1 janky charm. I don't know if I'm explaining that right. There's a look to PS1 games. There's a look and there's a feel. Maybe I'm just being closed-minded, but this game didn't necessarily fit into those things. Or at least my perception of those things. There were some segments such as this where the game asks you to do something specific or reveals a new sort of gameplay mechanic. It was that segment that made me realize maybe I needed a new PS1 controller because the combination of buttons they were telling me to press just wasn't doing anything when I executed the combination. This is another thing that I didn't really care for about GEX. Sort of what they decided to mesh together in the design. Why is there a man with a chainsaw in a cemetery? I mean, you can write the word scary down on a post-it note and stick it on your ideas board, but to just throw in anything that reads scary, I don't know, it just doesn't really seem cohesive to me. Like, why? Why is there a man with a chainsaw in the cemetery? Ah.
Kill your TV, man.
Yeah, GEX has these sort of snarky, painfully 90s voice clips that he uses in different scenarios. Kill your TV, man. Great stuff, right? I guess it's an alright soundbite. Speaking of soundbites, Yellow Jacket, you doing alright?
Yeah!
Oh, great. Yellow Jacket, would you agree that oppression in any form is wrong, and as a race, as a civilization, that we need to work on building each other up and supporting each other in this rat race that we've all been thrown into together?
Yeah!
Ah, perfect. We also have these sort of black hole portals of static that can zip us around to bonus areas of the level or reveal sort of secret passageway. You know, your standard sort of 2D secrets. Alright, I don't know. I didn't really like GEX, so we're gonna go back to the graphic, and I'm gonna tell you another element of this series that I'm doing. I have decided that once in every heat, or I really hope only once in every heat, I'm going to have what's called a gray game. And this just means that I didn't play the game enough where I feel comfortable giving it a score out of 10. I really hope that I finish the majority of the games on this list. GEX, in this case, I only played 1 out of the 5, I believe, 5 worlds that it has. And I just didn't care for it. I really just wanted to stop and play a game that I liked, which happened to be game number 3. But yes, in heat number 1, GEX is our gray game. Although I don't want to end on such a sour note. So instead of doing that, let's look at some of GEX's sound bites together to end this video. So we have simple sound bites like when he jumps, he says,
Geronimo!
Harmless.
This would be great for my collection. Welcome to the New York City Mass Transit System.
As you can hear from that stream audio from Twitch, that one got me pretty good. Yikes.
Don't make me take my tongue out. This one's for Johnny.
See, that one, I don't even... This is one thing I appreciated about GEX. It made me feel younger than I've been feeling currently because I just did not get that reference. Who's Johnny? Which Johnny?
I'm so hungry I could cry.
By far my favorite one. That might join Yellow Jacket in the Soundbite Hall of Fame. I'm so hungry I could cry.
Hey, reruns of Rhoda.
Again, just no idea what he said.
This place is weirder than 4th of July at Rick James' place.
Again, GEX, thank you for making me feel so young. Even though I know late 20s is young, I've been having some intrusive thoughts. Not understanding the reference of the 4th of July at Rick James' place makes me feel great. Thanks so much for watching this video, guys. I know it was fluff. Maybe in the future I'll go easy on myself and just not make a video for my gray games. I actually kind of liked it, you know, just trolling on GEX, picking on GEX. You can pick on geckos, but not people. Remember that, okay? Thanks for tuning in. Go follow me at twitch.tv/timestoodsstillgaming. Subscribe here if you want to follow the PlayStation Backlog series. Thank you. See you next time. Bye-bye.